Bloodstrike has been slowly adding BAS attachments to some weapons, and it has greatly changed their effectiveness in real matches. There are only 11 weapons so far that have BAS attachments, and in today's video, we'll go through all of them one by one and see if they're actually worth using or not. Let's start with the M4A1. The BAS attachment of this gun is the aluminum stock. The M4 is one of the assault rifles that has a decent recoil, and the recoil control has been further improved with the addition of the new BAS attachment. This attachment also gives the M4 a faster ADS speed and ADS movement speed, so you'll be able to scope much faster and also move much better when you ADS. You'll become a much more difficult target to hit when you strafe while shooting. In addition to that, there is also an increase in mobility compared to the normal attachment. The M4 has become more stable and more beginner friendly, but despite all of these improvements, I still find this gun lacking because of its slow TTK or time to kill. It's true that it's easy to land your shots because it has become more stable, but it's difficult to finish and secure kills because of its low damage, especially in mid to long range gunfights. A buff to its overall damage could easily bring this gun back into the meta, but for now, it's just average. Next on the list, we have the spear with the thermal scope BAS attachment. The thermal scope enables you to see through smoke. The spear has a slightly shaky recoil just like with the SCAR, and I noticed that it's not that shaky when you use the thermal scope compared to the 3x scope and 4x scope, which is really popular in the current meta. The downside of the thermal scope is the limited visibility on targets at longer distances. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people choose the 3x or 4x scope. Another minor downside is a slower ADS speed, though it's not a big of a deal in real matches. Overall, the thermal scope is really good, especially if you prefer mid-range fights. And in the current patch, the spear is at the top of the assault rifle, so it doesn't really matter what scope you will use. You will still dominate with this gun. Up next, we have the file with the 30-round dual-tip magazine. This mag fires a twin bullet that deals 19 upper body damage and 29 headshot damage, and since it's a twin bullet, it deals a total of 38 upper body damage and 58 headshot damage. The normal mag has 50 bullets and deals 32 upper body damage and 49 headshot damage. At first, I thought that the 30-round mag is not enough, considering that it's a twin bullet. As you can see here, each shot fires 2 bullets, but the bullet count was only reduced by 1. The twin bullet mag is actually better than the normal 50-round mag. The file has a slow fire rate and its damage was actually nerfed in the previous updates. But with the new mag, the file can now burst enemies a lot better considering that it has a higher overall damage. Next is probably the most popular weapon and popular BAS attachment, the UMP-45 with tactical laser. This BAS attachment is a unique one because of the tactical stance orientation of the gun when you ADS. This gives a faster ADS speed, ADS movement speed, and also an increase in mobility. A lot of players have been using this attachment because of its laser beam accuracy in close range to mid-range fights. But honestly, I prefer using the UMP-45 without the laser attachment because it feels a bit off for me during fights. The UMP-45 was recently nerfed, but I think it's still decent. It doesn't matter whether you use the laser attachment or not, you will still dominate with this gun. Next on the list is the INP-9 with the 30-round armor-piercing magazine. The normal INP-9 is known for its stability just like with the M4. And they also share the same disadvantage, which is their low damage output. This new BAS attachment is a big game changer on the INP-9. So basically, you deal more damage on enemies with an armor. Normally, this gun deals 29 headshot damage and 22 damage on the upper and lower body. But if you use the BAS attachment, you can deal 38 headshot damage, 29 upper body damage, and 22 damage on the lower body. The damage output increase will only work on enemies with an armor. The moment their armor breaks, the damage also declines. And also with this attachment, you'll only have 30 bullets, so if you miss your shots, you'll be at a disadvantage. Up next is the complete opposite of the INP-9, the BIZON with the 32-round RIP drum. This is the latest added BAS attachment, and what it does is that it deals more damage on enemies without an armor. The INP-9 piercing mag shreds armor like crazy, while the BIZON shines best when the armor is gone. So these two SMGs are what you call a perfect pair. The INP-9 destroys the armor, while the BIZON finishes the job. This BAS attachment has fewer bullets, so you need to hit your shots well, just like with the INP-9. Up next, we have the MP7 with the heavy trigger BAS attachment. This BAS attachment increases the headshot damage from 22 to 30 and limb damage from 13 to 22. This deals 22 damage on the upper body, which is the same whether you use the BAS attachment or not. The fire rate of this gun is 67, but it decreases to 57 if you use the heavy trigger attachment. To be honest, the gun itself is not that impressive compared to the other SMGs. Next on the list is the M1887 with the Governor Trigger Guard. The gun itself is actually very good because of its high burst potential. Using the BAS attachment Trigger Guard will disable the ADS option for this shotgun and rely only on hipfire. There is an increase in hipfire accuracy, and as you can see, the crosshair is a bit smaller with the BAS attachment. This setup works well for players who prefer hip firing, but personally I prefer using the M1887 without the BAS attachment. I like to ADS with the shotgun to make sure that the pellets stay tight and all hit the target, resulting in faster bursts and higher overall damage. When you rely purely on hipfire, you need to be extremely close to deal high damage, unlike when you have the option to ADS. Next is another shotgun, the S868 with the double trigger attachment. With this attachment, the S868 fires a double shot, and since it only has 2 bullets, it will only fire once then reloads again. The good thing about this double trigger attachment is the high damage output. It can burst enemies even with max level armor as long as it's within 5 meters. It's also indicated in the stats that it deals lesser damage when using the double trigger. It only deals 35 damage while the normal one deals 45 damage. But here's the deal. I noticed that there is a difference in the amount of damage indicators shown between these two attachments. Here with the double trigger attachment, it deals 35 damage and the total number of the damage indicator is 7. Without the double trigger attachment, it deals 45 damage and the total number of the damage indicator is only 4. So if we do a simple math, 7 times 35 is equal to 245 while 4 times 45 is 180. So the S868 deals more damage with a double trigger attachment. It will only fire once, but the reload speed is significantly faster, which is a huge advantage. The reload becomes even quicker when paired with volts. This passive grants a 50% reload speed boost for 10 seconds. Just imagine how fast and how broken this can be. Next, we have the PKM with the incendiary mag. There's not much of a difference between the explosive mag and this mag. Both of them have a total of 200 bullets. The explosive mag deals more damage to vehicles, while the incendiary mag deals an additional burn damage, though it's only very minimal. The fire rate is a bit slower on the incendiary mag, but in terms of burst potential, the incendiary mag wins because of the additional burn damage. Here, I tried shooting this target at the upper body at 5 meters with max level armor, and it took only 10 bullets with the incendiary mag, while 12 bullets on the explosive mag. It's not that much of a difference, but there's still a difference in their performance. Last on the list is the M82 with the high accuracy laser. This is similar to the UMP45 with a laser attachment. This one also has a tactical stance with an increase in its ADS speed and ADS movement speed. There are no changes to its damage output. It deals 250 headshot damage and 100 upper body damage. To be honest, I find this laser attachment a bit weird on a sniper rifle, because logically speaking, sniper rifles are designed for long-range fights, and you're basically removing the value of this sniper rifle if it can't compete in long-range gunfights because of this attachment. It may work when you're playing in game modes with smaller maps like Hot Zone or Weapon Master, but it's just not ideal on VR mode. I'd rather use the M700 or CAR 98K for mid-range and quick scoping than the M82 with the laser attachment since it has a higher damage output. Which of these BAS attachments do you like the most? Comment down your thoughts and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!